Hosted by you/thrower45345536. English isn't my first language, so sorry for any mistakes. The last 24 hours or so have been pure hell for me, and I'm tired and crying constantly. As background, my husband, 24M, and I, 27F, have been married for 5 years, together for 8. We've been in an open relationship for 3 years. We're both bisexual, and I'm more than happy that he can explore that side of himself with other men, as I'm able to do the same with women. We have rules though, and we've agreed that we're going to tell each other when we hook up with people. So, my husband has an older brother, Marcus, who turned 32 during my absence. They were planning on celebrating together, having fun, drinking, and whatnot, which was fine with me. I wish them a happy time and hope they'd have fun. This was a week ago, by the way. I drove several hours away to see my sick mother. I left my husband at home as he works from home and couldn't come with me. Also, my mother dislikes him because he's a foreigner. I texted Marcus to wish him a happy birthday, and he didn't reply. I thought he was out drinking and didn't think much of it. But I came back a day earlier than planned, and I was going to surprise my husband. I entered our house and heard noises, intimate noises. I was confused because my husband hadn't told me that he was going to see someone. I kind of brushed it off, thinking it was just him by himself, watching some adult stuff for his alone time. 20 to 30 minutes later, my husband comes downstairs, sees me, and goes pale. I mean, white as a ghost. He stares at me, stammers, and looks guilty. At that point, I'm suspicious and thinking that something's up. Not 2 minutes later, his brother comes downstairs, and he has several hickeys on his neck. He greets me stiffly and says that he has to run back home to his girlfriend. My husband doesn't acknowledge Marcus leaving, when usually they hug and linger. They're very close and have always been, ever since I met my husband about 10 years ago. I ask my husband, what was that about? He's very evasive, dodges the question, and says that they had a fight. I press on the matter, asking what they fought about. Nothing, he tells me, now irritated. I keep pressing and pressing. He finally relents, saying that Marcus cheated on his girlfriend and that the woman he cheated with escaped via the window when they heard my car. We have a one-story house, so it's kind of plausible. I was suspicious, but I assumed that he was lying about the car thing and that he'd seen or heard me in the house and alerted his brother and his mistress. Marcus cheating on his girlfriend is not okay with me. His girlfriend is my friend too, and she's amazing, working on the front lines of this COVID pandemic. My husband tells me he has to do some work and that he has a client. This was actually true, so he wasn't lying about that. I was still a bit weirded out by the whole thing. Marcus lives alone, so why was he hooking up with some random woman in our home? Later last night, I felt like something was off. Normally, my husband would be very excited that I'm home, and every time I've been somewhere, he's been very romantic and initiated bedroom intimacy. Now, nothing, he's just very quiet, reserved, and nervous. When my husband took a shower, I went after him to wash my face and noticed that he, too, had hickeys on his chest that he tried to cover up when he saw me. I felt sick to my stomach and decided to go through his phone. Yeah, I know, I shouldn't have done that, but I was 100% sure something was up. I was still reading the conversations between him and his brother when my husband came out of the shower. The conversations were explicit. The reality hits me like a ton of bricks. I ask my husband what's going on and why he is flirting with Marcus. He tells me it was a joke, just joking between brothers, and it sometimes goes too far. I didn't buy it. I went to sleep because I was exhausted from the trip. I was woken in the middle of the night by my husband crying his eyes out in our living room. So I went to ask what was wrong, and he told me everything. He has an on-off relationship with his brother. They started smashing over 10 years ago. First, it was just casual guy fun, and then it escalated into full-on smashing. He says it was because of their religious upbringing and that he knew nothing about smashing or sexuality until we started dating. My husband and Marcus are not in contact with their parents. They had a falling out about 6 years ago, and I was told it was because Marcus was dating a person of color back then. Well, now I'm thinking they got caught, and that's why their parents disowned them. I haven't slept since that night, and I don't know what to do. I can't look at my husband, and I don't know if I should tell Marcus's girlfriend about all this or what. I want to leave my husband, but at the same time, I don't. Should I contact their parents and ask what really happened 6 years ago? Is this something a therapist could handle? Is our relationship salvageable? Cheating is not something I'd break up over, but I can't shake the slimy feeling I have. My husband did it with his brother. And yes, they have the same parents, so they're not stepbrothers or anything. Of course, I've been thinking about the relationship my husband and Marcus had when they were younger. As I said, they have always been very, very close. But I should have seen the red flags. I should have known. Something weird happened just before we started dating, and now I'm thinking it wasn't as innocent as it seemed back then. I'm lost, confused, and don't know what to do. I can't talk about this to my friends or my parents. I'm starting to think about unaliving myself so I wouldn't feel this way. Additional info from Up. I am making one small update now, I'll return sometime tomorrow. A few things have happened. I asked Marcus's girlfriend to come and see me later today. She agreed and said, I think I know what's going on. My husband said he's not coming home. He tells me he's at a friend's house, but I know he's not there because I contacted said friend. I'm assuming he's at Marcus's place. I'll contact a therapist first thing Monday. I have written an email, and I'll send it early Monday morning. My husband told me a bit more, but he claims it all started from him. I don't believe it. I think he's lying to protect his brother. Marcus left me a voicemail saying that he can explain the situation. He did explain it, telling me that it was this one time only, but he didn't know that my husband had already told me it has been going on for over 10 years. It all started when my husband had just turned 13 and came out as bisexual. I feel very sad and angry. I almost drove to Marcus's house because I wanted to yell at him. For those claiming my husband is gay, it's not true. He came out before anything sexual happened with Marcus. I texted their parents and said I wanted to talk with them and that something bad happened, but their boys are all right. I'm not all right. I asked a friend to come to our house an hour ago, and I showed this post to her. She's very angry and says that we have to get my husband into therapy, like some of you kind souls told me. Thank you everyone. I'll answer your comments when I've rested. I need sleep and food. Commenter. Over 10 years ago? So your husband was 13 or 14, and his brother was over 20? That is a huge red flag. 20-somethings are not supposed to be intimate with 13-year-old kids, no way in hell. Are you or your husband sure it has always been consensual? Ops response. I didn't even think about this. I don't know what to think anymore. I agree that the age gap is a huge issue. Well, I think I have to talk with my husband when he comes back home. I don't know where he is. I'm assuming he's at Marcus's apartment. Update 1. First of all, thank you everyone for your comments. Second, I'm sorry this took so long. I have been extremely depressed lately, unable to even go to work. I was laid off due to COVID, although I know it's because of this situation. In late July, after I posted my original message, I contacted a therapist and got treatment for my husband. I decided not to file for divorce. I also told Marcus's girlfriend what had happened. She already knew, which was such a betrayal in my opinion. We are no longer friends, and I haven't seen Marcus since July. Unfortunately, in the middle of August, my husband took his own life. I am writing this, feeling depressed, lonely, and so angry. The law is clear on situations like this. Consensual incest is okay, so there's nothing I can do anymore. My husband is gone, and his secrets and the truth went with him. There's no evidence that Marcus ever raped him, even though that is what my husband told me. He didn't get a chance to tell his therapist. I'm alone, so alone. All my friends have left me because they think this was somehow my fault. My husband's parents are not happy. I wrote in my previous post that I thought my husband and Marcus got caught. They did, their parents told me as much. I don't know what else to say. Thank you for the kind words and support I received. I wish things had gone differently. Update 2. July 2020 seems so far away now. August 2020 is when my husband, unfortunately, decided to end his life. October 2020 is when I last wrote an update. It's been well over 3 years now, but after all this time, the grief remains. I miss my husband dearly, and I am devastated that he isn't here anymore. I have now moved far away from everyone. I'm living in a different country now. I am happy, I guess. Things could be worse. I'd like to thank everyone who contributed to my initial post. I am now in a better place, for sure, but I still miss my husband every day. His smile, his laughter, his kindness. A lot has happened after my last post. Mainly, Marcus is now gone too. He was drunk, went for a drive, and drove himself into a tree. I was, and I am, sort of happy about that, even though I guess I shouldn't be. I have my suspicions that he aimed for a tree on purpose. I can't say for sure, but that's what I think. Anyway, I will never return to this account. Therapy has helped me, but not enough. I'm scarred by what happened, and I'd like to spend the rest of my life away from this horrid thing. When I pass away, I'll be able to see my husband again. I hope he's waiting for me on the other side. Once again, thank you everyone. It's time for me to finally move forward.